Hey everybody, it's GombletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of the brand new Outlaws of Thunder Junction format. Without further ado, let's get into the pack 1 pick 1. As you can see, we've got a loaded pack here. We have 5 uncommons and 2 rares. I don't think the rares are super good though. Siphon Insight is like a decent draw spell. It's like a Think Twice, where you get to draw 2 cards off of this over time, but you are drawing them out of your opponent's deck, which makes it a little interesting, a little cool, but not that good for a 2-color card right off the get-go. And same with like High Noon, it's basically like a 5 mana, deal 5 to any target. That bonus effect of only being able to cast 1 spell per turn, usually not going to be the most relevant thing ever to main deck, so not super excited about that, but I do really like this gold uncommon, Earthajo Frontier Mentor. So worst case scenario, you're getting a 4 mana 2/4 and a 1/1 mercenary with that nice ability, and best case scenario, if you have other abilities to copy, you can get some crazy things going on. So no matter what, the mercenary's ability gets copied as long as Earth is on board, so you can give like +2/+0 till end of turn, or +1/+0 to 2 different targets. It's a really fun build around and can be really nice with some more mercenary tokens running around. For pick number 2, I do really like This Town Ain't Big Enough. It's flexible, it's great bounce at 2 mana or 5 mana. Pretty far from Earthajo, obviously. We'd have to play red, white, and blue there. I don't think these other uncommons are particularly great. I mean, a 2 mana 2/2 haste is fine. Do like some of these commons. The Stagecoach Security was pretty impressive in our last deck. Just a really beefy card for the top end of your curve, and it buffs your entire board for a big swing. Townsfolk's also pretty impressive. 3 mana 3/3 that keeps getting bigger. I think, you know what, I'll go for the Vengeful Townsfolk, actually. I think you just have a little more room for cards that are cheaper on the mana curve than higher on the mana curve, so I'll take the really good, like 4 or 5 mana plays a little later, grab the 3-drop over the 5-drop. For pick 3, we have excellent removal with Mystical Tether. 3 mana to exile any artifact or creature at sorcery speed, or for 5 mana you can do it at instant speed, so it's got added flexibility there. Actually, Longhorn Sharpshooter's kind of nuts too, right? Yeah, if you plot this card, then you are gonna get a 3/3 for 4 mana and a removal spell attached to that, dealing 2 to any target. Yeah, this card's really good. I like Mystical Tether as well, but I feel like a creature and a removal spell all in one's probably a little better. While this Prosperity Tycoon's excellent as well. 4 mana 4/2 plus a mercenary. You can sack that token to give it indestructible. It's a really good pack again, but try out the Longhorn Sharpshooter. Love these removal spell on a stick creatures. Pick 4, there's another Mystical Tether, so we can grab our first copy of that this time around if we want. But there's also another kind of hard to pass 2-for-1 creature. 2 mana for a 2/1 that enters the battlefield, looks at the top 5 cards of your library, picks up a plains and puts it into your hands, or a mount. So right now I don't think we have any mounts. Those are the creatures that you can tap other creatures to buff them up. So the Quill Charger, if you tap total power of 2 or more, then when you attack you get +1/+2 menace. So that is an example of a mount there. So there are some in red and some in white, so this might be pretty flexible card draw, but worst case scenario, in a 2-color deck, there's still just a decent chance of pulling a plains off the top with this thing and getting a nice 2-for-1 that way, so take the Frontier Seeker. Pick number 5, we've got another Vengeful Townsfolk, which looks pretty fine. I think I'm perfectly happy to just stay locked in on red-white, because we have 3 really powerful reasons to stick to these colors: Frontier Seeker, Sharpshooter, and Earthajo. And there's only a decent reason to hop off color, the Marauding Sphinx here. Just a big, hard-to-target flyer. Yeah, I'm going to stick to Boros here. Probably go for another Vengeful Townsfolk, but Mind Raider looks decent as well. There are a lot of outlaws in the format, outlaws being assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks. So this is pretty consistently a 3/2 plus a treasure token, which is decent, but I really like how big this Townsfolk can get pretty easily. Pick number 6, some mediocre removal with Ariet's Lullaby. It is really cheap removal, but it's narrow, it's not going to be able to kill any vigilant creatures, or any creatures that are just sitting there with a good ability. You have to shoot something your opponent has tapped. There's really nothing else in the pack for us in Boros, though. I could start speculating on another color. I think the Vault Plunder is a really good value play. 3 mana, 3/1, draw a card off of it. The Bloodseeker's not bad either out of black, so pretty decent black stuff. Yeah, Lullaby or Vault Plunderer. I'm going to go for the Vault Plunderer here, stay a little more open. Pick 7, there's a Holy Cow. Hilarious. Hilarious card, but also pretty solid. It's the 2/2 Flash Flyer. You can try to ambush a 1/2 or a 1/1 or something, and you gain 2 and scry 1 when it hits the board. Pick number 8. Nothing great here. Armadillo and Wingsmith are both very filler, and Bovine Intervention is not the kind of card that is good in a 1v1 draft format, because you're going to be replacing whatever you're killing with this thing. It's so much better to just spend 1 more mana for the Sorcery Speed Mystical Tether style removal and completely deal with their threat. Give them nothing in return. So I'll just take the Wingsmith, but not excited about it. Pick 9, super weak pack. Take another Wingsmith or speculate on the blue counter being a decent card. Maybe the Binding Negotiation's an okay discard spell. I guess I'm already speculating a tiny bit on black. So we'll take the Binding Negotiation. Alright, sweet one, pick 10. We got the Stagecoach Security to come all the way back around, and this was one of the cards I was considering taking before the pack came back. Pick 11, get another great white card. Well, I don't know about great. A decent one, Getaway Glamour. So 3 mana, instant speed, destroy the creature on board with the highest power. So it's awkward if you're like green-white, because then you're going to have a bunch of really beefy green creatures, but I think red-white is kind of the perfect color combo for this, where most of our creatures are like 3 or less power throughout the game. Speculate on a blue duel just in case. And let's see what we get out of pack number 2. Alright, this Mythic sucks. Omen Path Journey. I mean, I guess it's not horrible, but again, in just a 1v1 draft kind of format, by the time you have 4 mana, you don't really need to ramp anymore. But I guess it also makes it so you're less likely to hit a land clump, because you're pulling 5 lands out of your deck. I don't know, it's probably not horrific, but it's definitely not worth swapping over to green at this point. It's a really good blue spree card. This is cancel with a ton of upside. Just a 3 mana counterspell, and also later in the game you could copy another creature, you could draw some cards. That's pretty sweet, but not really what we're doing here in Boros. I feel like Hellspur Brute is probably perfect. Pretty easy to have just a few Outlaws on board and make this like a 3 mana 5/4 trample or a 2 mana 5/4 trample. Just absurdly big for a really cheap mana cost, so I'll take the Hellspur Brute. Pack 2, pick 2. I am more married to white than any other color here, so I don't think we can really swap over to black-red for a cool. We'd have to drop a lot of solid white cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 white spells right now. And a cool is such a restrictive mana cost, being double black, double red, that you can't really do it off of a splash at all. You gotta be pure black-red for that. So sorry, a cool. So we get a 2 mana 2/2 haste, or we get a combat-oriented removal spell. Pretty low on 2-drops right now. We've got a single Frontier Seeker, so let's just grab the Roadrunner. 2 mana 2/2 haste, protection from coyotes, which is hilarious, but probably not particularly relevant. Alright, pick 3. Crime and Punishment. Put a creature or enchantment from an opponent's graveyard on the battlefield under your control. Destroy each creature, artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value X. It's interesting. That's probably pretty decent if you are white, black, and green, but not quite good enough to splash in just 1/2 of the card. Like splash in black for crime. Be okay, but not super worth it. Return a creature from your grave to the battlefield. Return a mount or vehicle from your grave to the battlefield. Return an aura or equipment from your grave to the battlefield attached to something. That's interesting, but pretty narrow. I think I'd rather just take Prosperity Tycoon here. 2 creatures off the 1 card. More mercenaries to work with Eartha Joe. We'll grab Prosperity Tycoon. Pick number 4. I do like the... what is that word? The Irascible Wolverine. It's a nice way to get ahead in card advantage in a red deck, because you plot this on turn 3, so that you can cast it for free on turn 4 and have all of your mana untapped to cast whatever you're exiling off of its enter the battlefield effect. Looks pretty solid. I don't really want a second Getaway Glamour since it's a little bit narrow for a removal spell. And I don't want to take another Stagecoach Security this early either. Pick 5. Demonic Ruckus. What is this? 2 mana. It's an aura for +1/+1 Menace Trample. When it's put into a graveyard from battlefield, draw a card. Well, that's not terrible. You can plot it for only 1 mana as well, so that on turn 2, play a 2 mana creature, just slap it on immediately. That's pretty cute. Holy Cow might be better, but I'd like to try some of the new stuff I haven't played with yet. We'll roll with a Demonic Ruckus. Pick 6, like the Outlaw Medic here. It's another Outlaw, obviously, to work with our Hellspur Brute, and it's just a solid 2-drop. Make sure that it replaces itself later in the game when you chump block with it. Pick 7. Trick Shot's an okay removal spell. You kill probably their biggest creature, as well as one of their mercenary tokens. Pick 8, another Wingsmith I will not be playing. Actually, Ruthless Lawbringer has a really good enter the battlefield effect. You can just sacrifice like a mercenary token to destroy anything you want. So this could be worth a splash. I'll actually take that. Pick 9. Nothing here. Just a rare draft. Highest rarity card. Do the same here. Now I'll get a Steer Clear, I guess. Alright, pack number 3. Alright, pack 3, pick 1. We opened up an on-color rare and an off-color mythic, sadly. The Gitrog's a really good card, but it's basically impossible to splash in here. We have no green or black yet. We'd have to play 4-color to get it in. That is disappointing. But what is this rare? 2 mana, 2/3, when a source control deals non-combat damage to a creature, equal to the creature's toughness, you draw a card. That is really narrow. So if our burn spells do exact damage, we draw extra cards. Otherwise, it's just a 2 mana, 2/3. I mean, there's nothing else in the pack out of Boros that looks good, so I guess I'll throw her in, but I don't think they're going to be great. Pack 3, pick 2, get another Wolverine. That seems good. I do like the take up the shield as a combat trick. At knife point might not be the worst splash in the world. We are pretty outlaw heavy right now. Get some more mercenaries when we commit crimes. But I think Wolverine's more than good enough to stay on color. Okay, pack 3, pick 3, get a Sterling Keykeeper. 2 mana, 2/2, it's a repeatable way to commit crimes if you care about that. Our deck doesn't that much, but 2 mana, 2/2 that can keep stunning your opponent's best threat later in the game. Seems decent to me. Good creature type as well, it's a mercenary for the Outlaws. I guess you get to double its ability with Eartha Joe. That's another kind of spicy synergy there. Speaking of spicy synergies, we got another Prosperity Tycoon for yet another mercenary producer to go with Eartha. Now pick 5, get another Outlaw into our deck with the Outlaw Medic. Now we've got a Reckless Lackey. This is another Outlaw, and it'll be our first 1-drop, and we do get to double up the ability with Eartha Joe. I think I'll take my first Lackey over my 3rd Outlaw Medic. Pick 7. Well, I guess our Outlaw count is decent enough for Outlaw's Fury to consistently draw that card. This is where it gets pretty good. We've got 19 creatures, so we're going to have a super high creature count. I actually think Outlaw's Fury might be a little bit better than the Bridled Bighorn for this deck. But I do like the Bighorn. You get to saddle it up and keep spitting out tokens. But it's kind of an outlaw deck here. Wanted Griffin is worse than our other four mana plays, so it probably won't make the cut. But it's not like completely unplayable. It just is for this deck. If we find any other playables, we're probably cutting Wingsmith at this point, because we're on that 19 creature count. We'll still have 18 creatures. 16 land deck here. First Highway Robbery might be better than our first Inventive Wingsmith. Again, just because the creature count here. Let's get some more flexible stuff. I'll drop the Wingsmith. Alright, Boros Outlaws it is, and the deck is already built. Kind of built itself during the draft. Alright, here's a look at the final deck list for today. Pretty standard Boros aggro build. We have just a really aggressive curve with a lot of creatures in the deck, and we have multiple cards that are spitting out 2 creatures off of the one spell, the double Prosperity Tycoon and the Eartha Joe to do that. So when we've got a really wide board state, just by casting so many creatures, we can leverage that with a Outlaws Fury style finisher to get a bunch of damage in, as well as draw that extra card because we have plenty of Outlaws in the deck as well. So just trying to steamroll in, get as aggressive as possible. Maybe we get to Demonic Ruckus for Menace Trample to sneak in a bunch of extra damage. And of course, as always, a good chunk of removal to clear a path for our aggressive board state. Pretty standard, pretty simple stuff today, but hopefully it plays out pretty well for us. We'll find out soon enough as we head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are for game 1 on the play. We have the turn 1 plot on Demonic Ruckus. So turn 2 we play a 3/3 Menace Trample, or a 3/4 Menace Trample, if we don't really care about Ty's ability here. Which we probably don't. That's why I named the deck Imperfect Shot, is that this is basically a 2-mana 2/3 with no text. So it is probably a little better to throw the Ruckus onto them for the higher toughness threat. Harder to double block and kill that one. Alright, we find an Outlaw Medic. Send in for 3. Don't want to get annoying on blocks or just keep playing higher power creatures. I can't get through the Deadeye Duelist either way. I don't think it matters too much. I'll play the higher power creature though. Alright, the Prickly Pear was a great play for our opponent here. Now they can block Ty pretty well if I don't tap one of their creatures with the Keykeeper. I don't think I want to tap one of their creatures when I can tap out for this Prosperity Tycoon instead right now. Ooh, very nice. Our opponent has plotted the Longhorn Sharpshooter here. Deal 2 to our Tycoon, kill that. That Outlaw's Fury can set up some really good attacks for us. So right now, if they triple block Ty, even if they're a 4/4, I kill their 2/2 and 1/1 only. But if I Outlaw's Fury at 6 power, I can kill their whole board. And draw a card. But then I'm not playing any creatures right now. But I don't really want to play Wolverine. I could plot it here. Yeah, you know what? I think I'll just go for the Outlaws Fury play. If they block. If they don't block, then I guess we will plot the Wolverine. Alright, cool. This is fine. They're down to 13 now. And we're slowly but surely working our board state a little bit wider for this Outlaws Fury. This starts to look a little more like a win condition and less like a way to clear the board the longer this game goes on. The lower their life gets. I think this card can be pretty good. Giving lifelink to something every single turn can make it really hard to outrace somebody. That is a wide board now from our opponent for a lot of good blockers. Well, they can shoot us with a duelist to give lifelink to the prickly pear. Yeah, this apothecary is a huge problem. With a repeatable way to commit a crime like they have here, they're gaining like 3 life a turn. That is super rough for us. I don't hate the Keykeeper for prickly pear trade because I'm not going to have the mana to toy around using this ability for a while regardless. So I'll just clear this thing out of here. Find Resilient Roadrunner as the Wolverine draw. No, it's a Minotaur Rogue. Why wouldn't it be a Coyote Rogue, though? Then I could sneak past. Could still sneak past if I spend 3 mana, but then I'm not playing anything else this turn. That seems pretty bad. I guess I could just mercenary it up. Yeah, that works perfectly well. They double block tie. I think we cast Outlaw's Fury. Alright, and if they don't, we just play Outlaw Medic. This Deadeye Duelist Apothecary combo gonna continue sneaking in some life gain here. Although they don't have a creature big enough to attack in with the life gain anymore, since we cleared out the prickly pear and the 3/3. Whatever they attack in with is gonna trade off, unless they blow up our Wolverine. Please don't blow up our Wolverine, I would be very sad. But I think they're going to. I don't think they'd be doing all this if they weren't going to kill Wolverine. I don't think they would want to lose the Apothecary, basically at any cost. Oh, they're going to give it Menace here? Alright. Yeah, then I'd have to double block, lose both the creatures to kill it, but then they wouldn't be able to give lifelink for the rest of the game, but they still have 3 cards left in their hand. Reestablish a board state while I only have these 2 out. I think I take this with Outlaw's Fury in hand, going for a huge crackback. Like, if this isn't gaining lifelink, that's the thing that I was really worried about. Just them staying at a really high life total, making it hard to get the full Fury crackback for lethal. But if they do that, then boom, like, we're set up, right? Yeah, if they don't block, they're dead. If they do block, we're probably going to kill the muscle. I guess the muscle could block one of our 1/1s and survive, but if it blocks one of our 1/1s, we're still dealing lethal. And by one of our 1/1s, I mean our 1/1 or our 1/3. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I put them to 2 life if they block a 3 power creature and 0 if they block a 1 power creature. Alright, and there you have it. Outlaw's Fury for the win. It's a good thing it got the win as well, because our next draw was just a little bit of a land clump here. Really, really close game in the end. Obviously didn't look like it, 17-0, but that was the last piece of action we had, that Outlaws Fury, so we were about to be out of gas against a pretty substantial board state, especially with the ability to use the Apothecary to lifelink up a 5-power creature at that point to give them some breathing room, so close battle for our first game, but we do start things off 1-0. Here we are on the play for game 2. We've got Frontier Seeker into Holy Cow. Basically, no matter what, I guess if there's no planes in the top 5, we won't. But we have top decked the red source now to have access to the other half of the hand, which is perfect. No! Brutal. We do have 8 planes in the deck, so about 1 out of every 5 cards is a plane. So on average, we hit this. So it is sad to miss. But it happens. We don't have any mounts, though. That's where the card becomes very consistent and very good. If you're in, like, green-white, where you can draft a ton of mounts to make sure this always draws something. Plus, having the mounts so that if you top deck it late game, it's not just pulling out another land. That's also quite nice. That is the perfect target for this Sharpshooter. God, that card is going to be good. So let's Holy Cow. Let's keep the Townsfolk. Yeah, Sharpshooter is an outlaw, so we can cast Brute for 4 mana, so we already have enough mana here. Incredible work from Longhorn Sharpshooter. 4 mana for a 3/3, and we kill their 3-drop. Oh no, big score mythic. When it enters battlefield, create 2 food tokens. When it attacks, you can sack a food to mill 3 and put a permanent from among them into their hand. So they get to draw a card turn after turn after turn with that thing. Okay, so I mean, we just definitely kill that with Getaway Glamour. What is the flicker effect on this? Exile a non-token creature, return it to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step, so I can get another gain 2 scry 1 or another planes. I think I'll take the gain 2 scry 1. Actually, if I do the flicker, then I hit for 2 less damage, right? Because if I want to do the flicker as well, I have to do it when I kill this thing, and I need to kill this pre-combat to hit with Seeker. I mean, I could flicker the Sharpshooter, but it doesn't do anything flickering that. Yeah, I guess we just don't flicker then. We just blow up the 5/5. Still gave them 2 food tokens. So they still have 6 life gain sitting around now. You, First Striker. Sorry, Frontier Seeker. You have been roadblocked. Uh-oh, don't put an aura on that thing. Okay. They were looking at the lackey. I was like, oh, don't make a gigantic lifelink. First Striker. Oh, there's Steer Clear. Well, alright. I'll kill the lackey. Could also let something die attacking into Naturalist to steer clear the Naturalist. I think I just get mana efficient and aggressive and just slam here. Ooh. Well, that couldn't have gone any better for me. I really was not expecting that block. But we take those. I was a little worried about what happens if they like block my 2/1 with their 2/3. That would be the only block I wouldn't be that happy with. Alright, they're over it. I guess their hand was some combat tricks, so they wanted to send a message. Combat trick our own creature, show us what they had left there. Alright, just another solid aggressive curve out. It's going to lead us to 2-0 to start this event off. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 3. I think this mana's awkward enough, we might have to mulligan here. If one of these was a mountain, this hand would be beautiful, but without the guaranteed red source, we have to hit a land to do anything, and if we don't hit multiple, we're not doing much. I think I gotta take the mulligan here. This isn't great, but the highway robbery can go a long way for us to refueling, as well as the Wolverine drawing us an extra card. We'll keep this one. Yeah, this is actually, for a 6-card hand, it's pretty good, because that's the kind of stuff you're going to want when you've taken a mulligan or two. It's just some card advantage plays to make up for it. This hand has the card advantage plays. Uh-oh, Prairie Dog. This thing can get huge if they just don't cast anything else. Gets a +1/+1 counter every turn that they don't cast a spell. So if they have a bunch of instant speed stuff, that's where it becomes really gross. Or if they're plotting their cards instead of straight up casting them. Well, it's not going to get a +1/+1 counter immediately, so I'll just go ahead and plot our Wolverine. And Prairie Dog doesn't get to hit us this turn. I mean, we could bounce off each other. Both of us gain some life here. Be cute. Fibblethip. Now they can plot cards from the top of their library. That is a massive issue, because that's a huge card draw engine that lets them cast a bunch of spells out of exile instead of their hand, so they can cast just tons and tons of cards while buffing up the Prairie Dog. So we really want to get to our trick shot mana here. Blow up the Fibblethip, but this is Ward 2, so we'd need 7 mana to blow up the Fibblethip. Oh, you can't plot from exile? That's unfortunate. So we hit the only 5-drop in our deck. Yeah, that was literally the only card in our deck we couldn't afford at this point, since we already drew Trick Shot and our other 5-drop has Affinity for Outlaws, so it would have been 4 mana. That was really bad. The 1 out of 31 there. RIP us. Okay, hello, holy cow. Well, still just like trying to hit 7 mana or something here. So I guess like holy cow and scry. Oh no, this card is nigh unbeatable. This was a key player in our first sealed event, both in the games we won and lost. Just a 5/3, just hexproof flyer. It just kills you in 4 swings and you can't do anything about it if your opponent just stops casting spells alongside it. And it's more than a big enough threat to just stop casting spells once it resolves. Well, that's not gonna actually kill the creature with the greatest power, because the creature with the greatest power has hexproof. Still trying to find trick shot mana so that Fibblethip doesn't just like out card draw us out of the game. But I mean, this kills us so much faster than Fibblethip, so I guess I keep it and I just pray that they cast something at any point, and if they don't cast anything at any point, then we're dead. And it doesn't matter. Yeah, if they cast 0 spells for the rest of the game, they just can't lose. So we just have to hope they misplay. Hexproof is a heck of a drug. Yeah, that doesn't do anything about hexproof either. Also not a land, so I can't try to highway robbery and still hold up the getaway glamour. Oh my god. They just plotted a 4/5 flying lifelink off of Fibblethip, off the top of their library. Seems good. Well, maybe that'll at least get them to cast a spell so I can kill the Sphinx now, but we are just getting rare bombed the heck out. That is still not the mana to cast anything else alongside the Getaway Glamour. So they hit us for another 5, then they cast their Flying Lifelinker, then we kill the Stoic Sphinx. And then we die to their other cards over the next few turns instead. They have the counter spell here, we're also just dead. Which means I guess I technically should have done this before the end step, so at least if they had the counter spell, Prairie Dog wouldn't get the counter. Alright, exile a non-token creature, return it to the battlefield. We're going to the next end step. Till end of turn. If this comes in during an end step, I still get to play the card till the next end step, right? Actually not confident in how that works. I can just remove all the counters from Prairie Dog, and that's like a decent thing to do no matter what. And I have to do that actually, because I need no other creature to have greater power, so I need the Prairie Dog off the board in order to kill the Sphinx in the first place. So, I mean, this is the only way we can actually cast this. I don't have a choice but to flicker the Prairie Dog to make the Sphinx the highest power creature. If I cast this before... Or no, it's a 6/6 already, it's just about to be a 7/7, so it wouldn't matter if I did this earlier, I'd still have to flicker Prairie Dog, destroy Sphinx. Alright, well that's not like an instant loss kind of thing, but that is very bad. Still no land for the trick shot. Means we can't kill the Dust Animus now, so they gain 4 and we have to chump. Right, you know, I'm good here. We are sufficiently out power leveled by these rares. Here we are for game number 4. Some pretty awkward mana again, but any land draw is going to let us play a Wolverine with a Ruckus on it on turn 4. I mean, we can spend all the mana by turn 3. I'm gonna keep this. It's really close to a mulligan though. Obviously some pretty severe mana issues again. Alright, that is not a good start to the top decks. Find another white spell. There we go, that is a good one. Plot the Wolverine here. If we top deck a land, we can cast all but one of the cards in our deck again. The only thing, yeah, we did top deck a land, so the only thing, I guess there's 2 cards out of the 30 that we could hit off of this that wouldn't be castable, because we don't have a mercenary on board to make our 5/4 cheaper. Okay, so we hit Tai Joaquin. Perfect shot. Which is actually kind of cute here, because the Steer Clear will be exactly 2 damage to the Apothecary if it ever gets into combat. You know, I don't need to cast this right now, I can wait till the turn I'm actually attacking. I do like casting it when they're tapped out though, so that I can definitely get the card draw when they kill one of our creatures. Or if they have untapped mana and I try to target one of my creatures, they could kill it in response to this. So before the Ruckus hits the board. Yeah, I'll just get it out of the way here. I think I actually put it on Wolverine here, which is slightly awkward because I do have a way to flicker the Wolverine potentially. But again, I don't actually know, because it comes back in the end step, that works a little awkward when you can play it till the end of turn. Alright, please give it menace and attack. I would be real happy with that. Could flicker my card here, but I want to just kill this apothecary and draw a card. Let's go. Perfect shot. Perfect shot, they said. All right. Now we can Holy Cow plus Outlaw Medic, I guess. Seems fine. Also holding up the Getaway Glamour if our opponent casts a large, scary creature. Honest Rutstein, that is not a large, scary creature. That is an annoying small creature. A very good value play. Let's grind another Outlaw Medic. Yeah, I'm not very interested in you right now. Okay. Cast anything that costs 3 or less off the Wolverine. I think we're playing it safe and plotting again. Because I do still have some 4 mana cards in there. Got a chunk of 4 mana stuff. I don't really want to trade into Honest Rutstein, and it's less because I think I'm going to draw any more cards off of Ty, and more because I think Green-Black has a lot of graveyard recursion. And being able to just, like, pick up Honest Rutstein, recast it, pick up another card is super nasty. Like, I just don't think any trades are in our favor against Golgari with the amount of graveyard recursion they have. Unless they're trades where we draw a card. Shoot the Sheriff is a really funny card in this format. Because it feels less like it ends up shooting the Sheriff in this format and more like it just shoots the cow or it shoots the Wolverine. Like the non-outlaws tend to just be the non-humans, just the animals in this set. So far I've been shoot the Sheriff twice. Once they killed my Wolverine and the other time they killed my vehicle, my stagecoach. I don't know what they're holding 5 mana up for, but I'm assuming we're about to find out and get blown out. Oh, it's probably the 6/2 flash, give something -2/2. Yeah, that's sufficiently annoying. Exile the Holy Cow. I mean, I can flicker it to keep it. And then I don't have removal. Well, I still have a trick shot. I think I just hold on to these. Well, they probably got reanimation if they put this in their grave. Because that is a bomb rare we're about to get bombed by. They saddle one of their creatures to attack with it and attack with 2 copies of whatever they saddled. So like tap an Honest Rutstein to attack with Calamity and get 2 copies of the Rutstein. I guess it can only saddle non-legendaries, so it doesn't work with that specifically, but if they tap a 2/2 and attack with that, they're attacking with that and 2 2/2s. A very interesting effect. There's a Prickly Pear. There's an annoying amount of blocks. But hey, that's target for trick shot, which is nice. They're at 13. Do I want to just tap out and kill their whole board here? If I trick shot the Prickly Pear on the Mercenary, then I can Getaway Glamour the Apothecary. I can't Getaway Glamour the 2/2 Prickly Pear because it's not tied for the highest power. I feel like it's probably going to be better to hold on to Getaway Glamour, so let's just shoot Apothecary Mercenary here. Alright, well that's pretty nice. We've got an Outlaw Medic on board. If you're ever questioning whether or not you control an Outlaw, see if Outlaw is in the name of the card. Luckily it is. Then kill the Roadrunner. Alright, fair, that's cute. Could have spent the extra mana, but then I wouldn't be playing whatever I hit off the Fury this turn. I would like to play whatever I'm hitting off the Fury this turn. Unfortunately, it's just a plains. So, not particularly sweet. If I knew the top card was a plains, I probably would have spent the mana for the unblockability, but if it was any spell in the deck, I think we would really want to cast it. So if it cost 3 mana or more, I wouldn't be able to cast it this turn if I had paid for Roadrunner. Or no, because one of these lands I just hit off of the exile, so if it was 2 mana, I wouldn't be able to Roadrunner plus cast the 2-drop. Well, that's gotta be bad for me. Hopefully it's something I can just get away Glamour. 2 creatures total mana value 4 or less, so they can at least get a 2/2 and a 1/1 off of Prickly Pear. They could get Honest Rutstein and pick up whatever they want back to their hand with the Lively Dirge, so reanimate the Rutstein, put Calamity in hand would be nasty. Get a 1-drop means super wide board, and it's going to be hard to kill them, because it's going to be Prickly Pear and the Link Breaker probably. I guess they could go Rutstein, Link Breaker. Yeah, that makes sense. I think our best bet here is going to be trying to find like instant lethal, so I should probably Glamour the Rutstein and get a card draw off Wolverine. If that works, we'll find out if it works. I think if this comes back during my end step, I do get to play the card till the next end step, right? Nope. Alright, well that sucks. Does this do anything? It doesn't do anything pre-combat, but it is good. Get a wide board state here. Alright, well now we know Flickering Wolverine doesn't do anything. Oh, they don't have the double red for the gigantic horse. They only have a single red source right now. No! Not the uber blocker. Prickly Pear for 2 blocks. And Rover Grizzly. So they have 4 blockers up against our 4 attackers. Dang it. That is a rough one. Sack a token, give this indestructible. So anything they trade into Tycoon is trading for the mercenary token. I think we send in these 3. Trade a mercenary up into a 2/2 here. To clear a path. Nope, they're just going to chump that. Alright, that's cool too. Still clearing a path. 2 creatures left. We draw a card. Dang. And it's a wee bit of flood. Well, they can play the big horse now and have a 4/6 blocker, which is going to be difficult for us to get through. But they're not really in a position to be attacking if that's their best play, is just a single 4/6. Ooh, God. Yeah, these Golgari decks grind out so crazy in the late game. Just graveyard recursion the Rutstein, play the recursion, or play the Rutstein for recursion to pick up something else. Yikes. Well, I think they got us. Obviously the life total is really favored here, but that doesn't matter when they're like 7 cards ahead on board. If 4 creatures on board, 3 cards in hand to 0 in hand, and 2 on board. Their deck is much more late game oriented than ours. Like maybe we have some burn spell I forget about here. I don't think so though. I don't think we have anything that just shoots the face for 4. Nope. One last look through the deck, and we have absolutely nothing that will turn this game around. So I'm gonna move on. All we have are 1/1 creatures left in the deck at this point. I mean, there's a couple that make 2 creatures, but it's like a 4/2 and a 1/1 kind of thing. We're not breaking through this, especially with life gain triggers on an 8/8 coming up. So 2-2 it is, heading into game 5. This is snap keep. I think this is our first snap keep. Alright, let's go for immediate damage with the haste here. Boom. Our first time drawing our build around our Eartha Joe. Pack one, pick one. Get some crazy mercenary nonsense going on. In case this game stalls out as well, I think I'm not going to offer the Roadrunner for Peddler trade. The unblockable Roadrunner could be really nice in the long game. What did they just plot? That's a rare, isn't it? Oh no, it's just one of the uncommons. +1/+1 counter on it. Plus an additional +1/+1 for each other creature they control. So it'd be a 2/2 if they play it right now. It's going to be pretty easy for it to be bigger. Alright, we missed our land drop, which would be super huge for these 4s. We did find it off of the Frontier Seeker, luckily. Gain a life for fun. Yay. Giant Beaver, that is indeed giant. Gonna play a 3/3 off their plot card, or are they gonna get a little greedy and wait a little bit? Gonna get a little greedy. Ooh, Demonic Ruckus. Very cool card. I could kill the Beaver and plot the Demonic Ruckus for the turn. But I can also just play Eartha Joe. Build up my super wide board state for the Stagecoach security swings. Yeah, I'm just gonna build up the board. Which means they can do the same to get this to be really big. But I can flicker it later when they have less creatures to have it come back as a smaller version of itself. Although now I actually have good cards to flicker with Eartha or Prosperity Tycoon or something. If it's big enough, we might just kill that instead of the Beaver. But the Beaver's got Vigilance, which is rough. Oh, it's still just going to be a 3/3, cool. I guess 4/4 if they saddle with the Beaver. Sure. So they have no other creatures in hand? If they had any more creatures, they would have just slammed them down. So just removal for the turn, clear shot? Sure. Alright. I can Glamour to blow up the Beaver and cast Demonic Ruckus, or I can do the full Glamour of flickering something and plot the Demonic Ruckus, but I don't have anything good to flicker right now. Our Stagecoach security swings aren't even that good currently because of the Giant Beaver. I guess I could flicker their Sheriff with the Glamour, which would be better than not flickering. To just be a 2/2 instead of a 4/4. Sure, we'll do it. They have a Snakeskin Veil that's kind of nasty. That looks like a no to Snakeskin Veil. I'm gonna just like instantly regret trading Roadrunner into Peddler, I just know it. Like I always get in these positions where it's like, look at all this mana value to play around with, I'm never gonna be activating Roadrunner's effect, am I? Oh, never mind, I don't regret that attack at all. If they had removal to kill a Roadrunner, then it was gonna die, period. And that was the other kind of nice thing about that attack, is if they did take the trade for Peddler, then they'd have an even worse board. I'm a little surprised by that counter swing there. That is real aggressive. I think it's stagecoach time. I guess if I wait a turn on stagecoach, then it's going to be massive next turn. Yeah, it's going to be insane next turn. All right. Nice buffed up lifelinker, definitely making the race much harder for our opponent. 16-9 here. I was going to say, anyone who wants to come in and hit me in the face, you are welcome to. Here we go. Well, that's gross. I do draw 2 cards, though. I think we're still definitely ahead here. So we're fine. But that was a pretty good 2-for-1 removal spell. But now they have 1 card in hand and a single 4/3 on board if they take these trades. Whereas we have 1 really good card in hand and 3 creatures out. Still doing very well. Alright, there's the Scorching Shot for the 4/5. Send in their 4/3, we're down to 12. Highway Robbery. Sure. Reckless Lackey for some haste damage? Yeah, don't mind if I do. It's a Miriam Herd Whisper. This card's real good with mounts in the deck. I think they're pretty dead on board, yeah. But I'm gonna just make sure with this extra removal. So Miriam is one of the greatest uncommons in the format. Super awkward that late in the game when we've got the wide board state to just kill them. But Miriam's like a 2-mana 3/2, and every time you attack with a mount or a vehicle, you put a +1/+1 counter onto it. So, I think when they designed the card, part of what they felt like makes it fair and reasonable is it's well, you have to crew the vehicle and also send it in, so putting a +1/+1 counter on a vehicle every turn isn't the craziest thing ever. You gotta be tapping around, but you don't have to crew a mount. If you're in green-white, you could just play a 2-mana 2/2 that happens to be a mount, and a 4-mana 4/4 vigilance that happens to be a mount, and a 3-mana 4/2 that happens to be a mount, and these creatures just get +1/+1 counters every time they attack. Miriam is busted in half. That is a pack one, pick one every time. Alright, here we are for game number 6. We are 3-2 now, so at least a 50-50 run no matter what. What are we doing this game? Nothing until turn 4 or 5. That's when we're playing a creature. Until then I sit here and hold up removal. That's not really what our deck wants to do at all. At least I get to plot a highway robbery and stuff, but this is potential mulligan just because it doesn't fit into our game plan. We've had a bunch of monocolored hands today, so feels hard to mulligan something with both colors, but I'm still going to do it. It's just too awkward. No. I don't know what I did in a past life, but I have really angered the shuffler with this deck. Well, this might not be a game of Magic. We could have taken another mulligan down to 5, but that's the last mulligan you can ever do. because a mult of 5, you're already way, way behind. Your odds of winning shoot down real low. And then if that hand is also bad, then your odds of winning are just 0%. You can't mulligan below 5 in limited. Big crab is really annoying. We're going to want to kill this thing quick so I don't mill out over time. I think I'm just going to play a cow in their end step. This slasher is actually, like, really threatening here. The fact that it commits a crime every turn is pretty wild. And I guess I still get to block. I might as well. I don't want to trade my cow for the splasher. What if I play just any other ground creature? They can't attack with it anymore. Is this? Oh, the flashback thing? Yeah, that card's sick. Oh, Sharpshooter's so good, but it's not mana. I think it's still good enough to keep it, which is really awkward for me. If I don't have a land on top of my deck right now, basically anything I hit is bad anyway, so I think I can just hardcast this Wolverine and pray for that land. Right, because if it's not a land, I'm not casting it for like 50 turns regardless. Yeah, so Townsfolk doesn't really change the game at all. So we just mill one to get closer to the land, and we've just played a 3-mana 3/2 that scryed one for us instead of a 3-mana 3/2 that drew us a card, which is definitely worse, but it's still good. 3-mana 3/2 scry. Oh, they didn't get the flashback value off this? Let's go. No lockpicker value. I mean, I got no Wolverine value, so fair enough. One red source. You're just killing my cow here? They are not. Interesting. I definitely don't want to play the sharpshooter. I want to plot that later. Play a Roadrunner, I guess. Show me your massive trick. Go, team, go. Let's get blown out. Alright, cool. No trick. So we stop the crimes. We stop the mill. Oh, they milled so many lands out of our deck. Oh, no. So we can outlaw medic and lackey here. Although there's really no value to be gained from playing the lackey. It's just probably better to play 2 spells than just a single ruckus. Yeah. What is in their hand? They can't be flooded, right? They've missed land drops too. I think. I might be wrong. Go, team, go. Ooh, just a straight up trade for the Wolverine. Oh, these are actually the perfect blocks against the sharpshooter, 2 damage. The next level plays from our opponent. I mean, I guess I don't have any instants, so I might as well draw the card. It's not like I can respond to them doing any tricks after this. Oh! I don't have mounts in this deck, never mind, that's only 2 damage. That doesn't kill the Desperado. It would if I could cast that and then post-combat sharpshooter, but I don't have the mana for that nonsense. This is a weird game of Magic. Oh, they're a 3-color deck and they didn't have the 3rd color. Okay. So now we're scared. That explains everything. That forest solved the mystery. So 3-mana 4/2 gives them a mana and they draw cards when they play. Yep, get another green mana. Draw cards when they play power 4 or greater creatures. So they're going to draw some cards. Well, now we've got a great sharpshooter target. Oh yeah, make your own luck. Okay, we need to kill them quick. Because that make your own luck, draw 3, cast 1 of them for free next turn. It's going to be a 6/5 reach. We need to kill them like right now. So that would be best done by sharpshootering away the Trailblazer and ruckusing up a medic for 4 damage locked in right now. Then we can trick shot the Cactarantula. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, the steer clear is not going to kill anything right now anyway. Could Menace trample up our flyer, but they play 1 removal spell and boom, we have no more threats. I guess I hit for 4 either way, right? If I put it on Medic, attack with both of these, hit for 4, they bounce off 1. If I put it on Holy Cow, I hit for 3 off that, 1 off one of the medics. I guess, yeah, since it's the same damage either way, we should put it on the flyer so the flyer can get past their reach blocker. Alright, now they have infinite cards. They have all the mana they need to do everything. We will see how well they can stabilize here, which is probably quite well, but hopefully not. That looks like removal to me. Sure is. Now we have 0 damage. It's a wide board state and they're at 5. Oh, the life gain. Oh, hello. Okay, that's interesting. That's 6 damage if they let the smallest creatures through. I mean, it's our only bet at this point. They can mill us in like 2 attacks. Or 2 crimes, I mean. What do we hit for here? We hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if they have nothing. Did we just straight lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god, Outlaws Fury does it again! Stealing victory from the jaws of defeat. That was such an awkward game of Magic for everybody. Just had the awkward mulligan. We had to wait a long time for some mana to do things, so we were starting pretty slow, but our opponent even slower on the 3-color deck without their green source for quite a while. They had to play like a no-value lockpicker. We had to play like a no-value Wolverine. They milled a big clump of lands from us. Weird, awkward game of Magic, but does go to show there's a lot of variance in Magic. Some weird things happen. You can be in a real bad position and just be like, yeah, I don't think we're drawing super well or doing too much, but sometimes your opponent's in a slightly worse position. And then even when they start stabilizing, maybe you can find the Outlaws Fury lethal off the top. Super lucky stuff. We are now 4-2 heading into Game 7. Well, here's a really excellent curve. We are on the draw, but we've got turn 1 Lackey, turn 2 Medic, turn 3 Holy Cow. And our deck has a bunch of good 4-drops, all of our like 4-mana creature plus a mercenary cards. So if we draw into any of those, then the curve is going to be exceptional instead of just good. Currently, we've just drawn into extra lands, which is a bit awkward. The hand was already a bit high on mana. That was the only issue, is it could flood out. We started with 4 lands in the opener. And now we have 6. Okay, if we don't find removal for Tumblewag, that will kill us very fast. Get a +1/+1 counter every single turn on whatever they want. Definite bomb rare needs to be killed quickly, and even if you kill it the turn after they play it, it's still got some value there to 2-for-1 you a little bit. If you don't kill it for a few turns after it resolves, then you're falling way behind, and that is our current position. Falling way behind. Let's see about a scry 1 into kill the stable master. Get rid of their mana dork. It's a ton of mana. Here's our prosperity tycoon at least, so we're setting up some blocks. But Tumblewag continues to tumble on down. Gotta lose a lot of stuff to kill this thing. I'm gonna need to find removal for Tumblewag, so let's just draw a card here off our chump. Yikes. Ooh, they got the pest infestation as well. This is one of the best rares from the crime sheet. Like X mana for X 1/1s, and you blow up all of your opponent's artifacts and enchantments at the same time. Card is insane. Really good with the Tumblewag too. Just have a whole army of tutus pretty quick. Once again, we're digging for removal, so jump and dig. And it's certainly not it. Some blockers. But we're going to need a little more than 2 blockers to stop all this. Sure. Just kill one of the cards, take 5. I guess if I really want to kill one, I could trade a mercenary into one. Kill the bigger threat. All right. Well, we're dead in 2 swings from here. All right, that is dead. Chump, steer clear, take 6. There's certainly no coming back from this, even if they don't attack with the Tumblewag and we're technically not dead yet. But they did send in the whole team, so we are dead even with the steer clear. 4 and 3 it is. Not the greatest run ever, pretty average, pretty mediocre stuff, but we do pretty much break even, getting almost all the gems back out of the events, as well as keeping all of the cards that we drafted, getting some extra packs here. So 1,400 gems and 3 packs out of a 1,500 gem event. You can definitely go infinite off of that. So not bad at all. I think the deck was just decent here. We don't have any bombs of our own. Our only rare is Tai Joaquin, which doesn't really do anything. I mean, we did get to draw a card off of her one time with the steer clear shooting a 2 toughness card, but for the most part, we're basically a bomb-free deck. We're just synergistic, aggressive commons and uncommons. So getting a 4-3 run with that kind of deck is not bad at all in a pretty explosive format, which I think every set with play boosters is going to be. As you can tell by the fact that at least 2 of our rares was us just kind of getting bombed out. That final rare, we got tumbleweeded pretty bad. We just couldn't find a way to kill it quick enough. So their board state was massive, and we flooded a little bit on that one. And then our second loss was to just the flying hexproof card that we couldn't even interact with if we tried, as well as some other rares there. So a lot of just getting blown out by some bomby stuff in a deck that didn't really have access to bombs. We couldn't really find them in our draft pod. So still pretty happy with how the deck played overall. We just got out card quality'd a little bit. I think the strategy was still fine. It was nice and aggressive. We got some surprise kills off some Outlaws Furies. We definitely punched upward a bit, defeating some decks that I think were probably a bit better than this one. So perfectly happy with the run. Just not the most exciting, not like a full-on trophy run or anything like that. But hey, not the most exciting deck either. No crazy rares, no super crazy synergies or anything like that. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.